know it, we have true prosperity. Now, first, material prosperity is a part of true prosperity without question of a doubt, because we're in this dream of God and we have to act accordingly. But when we first start out as young people, we haven't got any backlog, so to speak, of material wealth and things of this world, so we lay up. We lay up through insurance and estate a value of material things, and we do that by taking out insurance policies, or we invest wisely, and later that bears fruit. But right off immediately, when we take out and create an estate, we have right then material prosperity. Later, we consummate it when we've made enough money. The insurance is not necessary. And so it is with spiritual things. We can right off lay up a spiritual estate right now, this moment, so we will be spiritually wealthy and we will have true prosperity without waiting for long years of meditation and devotion. We can do that right now. How? We can do it by following the channel God has sent. He has made it possible, just like insurance policies make it possible for you to create immediately an estate. So God has made it possible by giving you a real insurance policy whereby you can create a spiritual estate right now, because He has sent the channel through which you can have God contact. And having God contact, you will have a spiritual estate right this moment, not after years of slavery and following the razor's edge. We have to do that. Just like you have to in material things, you have to consummate that estate, lay it up. But in spiritual things, you can have it right now. Then you can make it your own as the years go by. Now, in the Bible, we have one of the greatest references which says just that and nothing else. It says right now, the moment you turn toward God, turn toward the channel He has sent, and begin to follow it, you have laid up a spiritual estate right that moment. Now, these are not imaginations, I'm telling you. These are eternal truths, and if you do it, if you do as it says in the 10th chapter of Daniel, the 12th verse, you will immediately lay up that spiritual estate. You will establish right this moment that God contact, that friendship with the Master of the universe. So it says in Daniel these words, "Fear not, Daniel." And this can apply to each and every one of us. "Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand." When you go to God and say, "Now I need you, Heavenly Father, I know you are the cause and end of all things. I need you. I must have you." The moment you do that, you lay up right then the spiritual estate. Because the moment you do that, then you will do as it says in Daniel further on, "The moment that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words." There cannot be anything any clearer. The moment that you make up your mind unreservedly to follow that spiritual consciousness within you, and then follow it by action, proper action of meditation and devotion, right then and there, you have created true prosperity. Right that moment, you have laid up spiritual treasure in the eternal consciousness of God, because He's with you. He's with you from that moment on and will never leave you as long as you keep the channel open. So there you have one of the greatest references in the Bible. Daniel 10th. Read it, reread it, make it your own. 12th verse. Now the Master's advice on finding true prosperity is to lead a balanced life. As I have said, we are not only physical beings, but we are predominantly spiritual beings. So He has laid down 5 things that are necessary: meditation, intellectual studies, health, happiness, and making money. Let us take them one by one. Meditation, of course, is very necessary. Sleep is not enough. Sleep takes us, as I have said, back to God. But it's an automatic process of evolution. We go near to God in sleep, but it takes so long, incarnations. But in meditation, you give definite, direct action in contacting God. Then you go fast to God. Then you water that spiritual part of us, which is so necessary in leading a balanced life. Meditation nurtures the spiritual part of us. In other words, meditation does what? Meditation increases the intuition within us. And it is through intuition and no other way that we make that God contact. There was a funny little thing I read, which I'll tell you at this time, about intuition by Rupert Hughes. He says, in intuition, when intuition comes, the mind ceases to function. You know that in your meditation. When the thoughts have gone to rest, that's the time I feel the presence of God best. So, that's intuition. Now, Rupert Hughes says this. He says, woman's intuition is the result of millions of years of not thinking. So there you have it. You ladies are much better off because you have more intuition than we men do. But that's the truth, of course. We know what he means. It's not so easy to attain intuition just by not thinking. So let us remember that meditation develops within us that power so necessary to have true prosperity. What is true prosperity?